What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including is a dream match finally happening in AEW, a former WWE superstar has passed away, more releases in WWE, Roman Reigns insults the roster, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Our first story looks at a dream match coming to AEW, where it looks like wrestling fans may finally get to see the long-anticipated dream match between NBA Hall of Famer Shaquille O'Neal and Paul White, aka former WWE superstar The Big Show. You may recall the WWE teased a match between the two titans, including the time The Big Show confronted Shaq during O'Neal's guest hosting on Raw, as well as Shaq's appearance in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal at WrestleMania 32. However, the match never came about, with different reasons thrown out, including WWE feeling Shaq wasn't serious about it, and Shaq claiming the WWE was playing bureaucratic games over the match. Whatever the reason, it sounds like both big men are ready to throw down. During an interview with the YouTube channel Pop Culture, O'Neal called The Big Show out, saying, "I hear Paul White is still talking trash. I'm still going to work out really hard this summer, and maybe we can do something really soon. The last time there was a lot of bureaucracy and red tape. Now there's no bureaucracy, so I'm still a little sore from that knock on the table during the summer, but I'm gonna train these muscles and prepare for you, Mr. Paul." Now that both Paul White and Shaq are in AEW, as O'Neal wrestled Cody Rhodes in a well-received mixed tag match earlier this year on Dynamite, it sounds like White is down for a match. White tweeted, "I'm not hard to find." A Shaq vs White bout can not only get AEW some mainstream publicity, but deliver some big bucks if the Battle of the Big Boys was held at a pay-per-view. Right now, this potential throwdown seems to be in hype phase, but as wrestling fans know, shrewd performers often plant the seeds for a big match long before it happens. Do you think this long-awaited match will finally take place? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, a former WWE superstar passes away. A sad news in the wrestling world, as former WWE superstar The Patriot, aka Del Wicks, passed away at age 59 after suffering a heart attack. A former college football player, Del Wicks wrestled in American Wrestling Association as Del Wicks and the Trooper before Vern Gagne's promotion went under. Del Wicks' career jumped to the next level when he donned a mask in global wrestling, transforming into the iconic babyface character The Patriot. The Patriot received praise for his work and even received a tryout in WWF. While he didn't stick in the WWF for long, he found further success in All Japan Pro Wrestling and World Championship Wrestling, where he would win the promotion's World Tag Team Championship with Marcus Alexander Bagwell. But he's arguably best remembered for his run in the WWF in 1997, where he battled against Bret Hart's Anti-American Heart Foundation. The Patriot's All-American persona was a good foil for Hart's heelish character who derided the United States. Unfortunately, Del Wicks suffered a torn tricep, ending not only his WWF run, but his whole entire wrestling career. He dealt with personal demons later in his life and was reportedly incarcerated for 9 months after forging a prescription. However, he did bounce back, working as an automobile salesman and speaking out on the dangers of substance abuse. Del Wicks' DVD documentary Behind the Mask was released in 2015. Now we'd like to extend our condolences to Del Wicks' friends and family. Next up, more WWE employees released. It looks like Nick the Cutter Khan's reign of terror continues in the WWE, as PW Insider is reporting that more WWE employees were recently released. According to Wrestling News' Andrew Ravens, it's been reported that WWE President and Chief Revenue Officer Nick Khan has led a corporate restructuring over the last few months. It was recently reported that more behind-the-scenes changes and departures are expected. The reason cited to the talent for the cuts has been budget cuts, and they are informed by John Laurinaitis, who is head of talent relations. The WWE has been slashing its budget and consolidating departments, a move which the McMahon podcast Andrew Zarian asked about. The answer may amaze you, as Zarian tweeted, "WWE talent and staff shakeups are something I was told would be more common heading into this new era for the company. When I pressed this person as to why their response was, to be honest, it's needed. From what we heard so far, the WWE wants to free up money for new talent and get rid of redundant employees." However, the WWE has been operating in an unusual environment ever since the pandemic, and it may want to be careful with how many more cuts it makes. With the WWE returning to live touring and airing television and pay-per-view from different arenas, it could find itself short-staffed, leading to a drop in the WWE's world-class production values. Work morale may drop as well, with employees doing the work of 2 people, leading to further reductions in quality. Looking at the WWE's budget cuts, the case can be made that Nick Khan just wants to trim down a bloated payroll in order to maximize profits, but unless Vince McMahon plans on selling the WWE, the budget cuts could end up hurting the company in the long run. Then again, long-term planning has never been Vince McMahon's strong suit. Next up, Roman Reigns insults the whole roster. Our Roman Reigns is Universal Champion and at the top of the WWE mountain right now. He also has an incredibly big ego. Speaking on the Cheap Heat podcast, Roman Reigns said, "This is some stuff that I've said to Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso on screen, but I mean, it's a shoot. It's for real. This is the only way I want to be remembered as being the hands down, head and shoulders better than everybody else on the show, everybody else in the world. They're all trying to catch up to me. At this point, I feel like within a marathon. We're lapping people because we put so much preparation, so much thought into the detail, the nuance, and trying to deliver the most sophisticated, not confusing, but very respectful stories as we can." What do you guys think of Roman Reigns being the best in the world right now? Is this a cheap shot to all the wrestlers in the backstage area? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, news on Mr. McMahon's visit to the Performance Center. Last but not least, news is coming in on Mr. McMahon's recent visit to the WWE's Performance Center. Turns out that Vinnie Mac wasn't the only person who showed up to see how things are going at the PC. In addition to WWE's head honcho, WWE President Nick Khan and high-level creative official Bruce Pritchard were there as well, reportedly speaking to staff and watching wrestlers training. It's been a tense time with the recent slew of slashes to the wrestling roster and employees alike, so rumor has it that there was some anxiety about the boss's visit. Despite this, PW Insider's Mike Johnson reported, "For all the concern and worry among those there that McMahon visiting was a precursor to some sort of bloodletting at the facility, nothing of the sort happened. We are told it was very much a positive day, with one person who was in attendance describing it as a breath of fresh air versus the worry that some were feeling about today." We'll have to see if this breath of fresh air is merely the calm before the storm, given how there seems to be a limit on who or how many people might be future endeavored. Considering the reports fans have heard from Andrew Zarian and others, future cuts seem imminent, despite fans wondering how many more stars can be released without the company running multiple matches with the same wrestlers. On a brighter note, rumors persist that some NXT stars could be promoted to the main roster, which could add some fresh faces to Raw and SmackDown. As these wrestlers are promoted, the WWE might also add some Performance Center workers to the Black and Gold brand for some on-air experience. Who would you guys like to see show up on the main roster? Let us know in the comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.